Check, check, check. Yun, good morning, good morning, good morning. Check, check, check. Welcome back to Wasting Hours with Munz. So yun, bilis no, episode 3 na agad. Saya. So, thanks again for everyone who listened from the last pod that we have, which is The Dying Dreams. So, if anyone hasn't listened to it yet and you're listening to this pod right now, you can go back to the Spotify page that I have. It's also available in Google Podcast, so might want to check into it. And so yun, for this episode 3, we're gonna talk about now paradox of work-life balance. So this is all about sustaining work-life balance from one of our listeners and one of the persons who have been talking with during pandemic. We have small talks, occasional talks, and those moments help me a lot to keep me sane at the least. So thanks for that. Hindi pa rin kita ng libre ng kape, so maybe next time pwede tayo magkita. Need to find time for it. Thanks for this, and we're gonna dig into this more. So mostly ang i-discuss lang naman natin with this episode and pod is really kung ano ba yung mga main challenges regarding sustaining your work-life balance in a sense. Also, what do we need to know first para ma-address yung mga challenges na yun, and how do we start? Right? How do you start sustaining your work-life balance? And syempre, ito, ni-record ko tong episode na to actually. Pangalawang recording na to for this episode kasi sobrang di ko alam kung ano nangyari, pero na-delete ko yung unang recording eh. Sayang, di ko na-save. Pero okay lang. Pwede naman umulit ulit. So, ayun. And medyo challenge tayo sa ngayon sa schedule natin for the work. Pero kung nakikinig yung boss ko, di po ako nagre-reklamo, boss. Okay lang. Okay lang talaga yung schedule. Nothing. Not a problem. So, yun naman. Okay lang siya. So, syempre, one of the reasons why kailangan natin pag-usapan yung work-life balance. So, kung teenager ka, medyo hindi mo pa ito madidig. Pero, for the young adults like us, like me, we always have this kind of curiosity, diba? Na yung ibang mga batchmates natin sa social media, parang ang dami nilang time, diba? And some celebrities, parang ang dami nilang time in spite of their busy daily schedule, diba? So, paano kaya nila nagagawa yun, no? Paano nila napagkakasya yung tons of activities that they have for the week, for the month, for the year, and even for a day, diba? So, nakaka-wonder eh. Ang galing din. Nakaka-curious talaga kung paano nangyayari yung setup na yun. And tayo, diba, at times, lagi natin narereklamo na hindi na natin talaga nagagawa yung mga gusto natin gawin sa buhay, or hindi natin nagagawa yung one thing that we really love to do way back then nung mga bata pa tayo, na madami tayong time and energy to do the things we want. So, that's one specific thing that we would touch on this pod. And yeah, let's jump into the main challenges na nakita talaga natin when it comes to sustaining the work-life balance. So, first, syempre, for me, unang-una, top of the list, diba, is the time constraints. So, lagi yan diba? Lagi tayong nagdadahilan na, wala busy, walang oras. So, tatakal natin yan, diba? Yung main challenges natin. And, pangalawa, we have the needs versus wants. So, it's not necessarily na kapag gusto natin isang bagay ay kailangan na natin, diba? Mostly, na-experience natin yan kapag may mga gusto tayong bilhin na material things. Pero minsan may mga bagay na hindi siya nabibili ng pera, like experience, diba? Or things that you really want to do. And hindi siya yung need mo ngayon eh. Kang kailangan mo talaga is to really work to gain the third thing, which is one of the challenges, which is yung budget, 'di ba? Money. So, may mga bagay na gusto natin gawin na ang gastos eh, 'di ba? Luckily for me, nung pandemic, nakapag-imbak ako ng mga items ng for the things I wanna do. Hindi man siya complete, pero at least I have started something. Wherein, ito, yung pang podcast, meron tayong mic na nabili nung pandemic. Meron akong computer na nabili nung pandemic. And that's something I'm starting with. Hindi man buo pa yung the vision ko talaga na setup. But at least, meron akong nakuha out from the budget na meron ako at that time. And fourth, definitely, kung meron ka na nung equipments na kailangan mo to start one thing, you need to find the energy to use those equipment, diba? To do those things that you love. And mostly, yan din ang isang ache natin. Lalong-lalo na kapag tapos na yung trabaho natin. If we spend that 8 to 10 hours of our energy sa pagko-commute, sa gawa ng trabaho natin from our day job, do we still have enough energy? Diba? Tatanungin natin yung mga sarili natin lagi. Do you still have enough energy to do these things after work? And lastly, syempre, lagi pa rin natin iniisip na baka wala na akong pahinga. Diba? Kaya hindi ko magawa yung mga gusto kong bagay. So, it's rest. So, those are the top 5 things na lagi nagiging challenge at the least for sustaining our work-life balance talaga. So, at first, syempre, let's jump into it. Ano ba mga kailangan nating malaman? What do we need to know first? So, for me, kailangan alam natin talaga unang-una yung ano bang problema? Diba? What are the problems? Kung bakit hindi natin nagagawa or hindi natin masustain yung work-life balance natin. Diba? So, you need to know the challenges first which are the things that we had mentioned earlier. Diba? So, yun yung top 5 challenges na meron tayo when it comes to sustaining work-life balance. So, ngayong alam na natin yung problema, alam na natin where it is coming from, so, we need to address and acknowledge that those are the challenges, those are the opportunities that we can see that is preventing us, to sustain the work-life balance. And, ayun. So, syempre, with this, na alam na natin yung problema, kailangan meron din tayong why, di ba? Why do we want to achieve work-life balance? Ano bang long-term goals natin? What's your goal for work-life balance? What are the challenges that you're facing? Diba? And why are you being challenged with those factors? So, it's important to understand talaga kung ano yung root cause, diba, ng mga challenges natin. Kasi there would be hidden things out around those challenges. And kung hindi natin siya maru-root cause or hindi natin ma-identify kung saan ba talaga yung pinanggagalingan ng problema natin, then we won't be able to address and resolve that kind of problem. So it's really important for us to have the full understanding first before we jump into actions. Kasi we might do actions that will not really address, diba, yung challenges na nakita natin kasi we're not addressing the root cause of that specific challenge. So, yun yung may mahirap. So, we're wasting energy on that thing kung hindi naman yun talaga. Second, syempre, kailangan natin i-identify yung will natin. Kaya natin kailangan maging philosophical when it comes to this episode. Kasi, kung mahina yung will mo to do one thing, you're not really gonna start doing that. You're not really gonna have the energy in the first place kung hindi mataas ang resolve mo doon sa isang bagay na gusto mong simulan o gusto mong gawin. Diba? So, you need to dig deeper kung ano bang problema dun sa will na yun? Ano bang kulang sa akin? Ano ba yung wala sa mitya ng bagay na yun? And maybe, one of the things that you can do is to revisit your lifelong dreams, di ba? Yung mga goals and visions mo nung bata ka pa lang, nung high school, nung college. Try to revisit those kasi baka mamaya yun nawawala sa atin kapag working adult na eh. Diba? Kapag young adult ka na and you're working for paycheck to paycheck to survive, yun yung nawawala sa atin. Yung mga pangarap natin na kung maaalala nyo yung feeling is we're very passionate about and we're very, very detailed on things we want to do to achieve those dreams. Diba? So, kung sakali na nauubusan ka ng will, then ask yourself, why are you losing that will? So, you need to dig deeper kung bakit wala. Diba? And one thing that you can do is to really check into the last things that you've dreamt of. Diba? So, yun siya. And also, kailangan siguro malaman din natin na there are things that wouldn't go in our way. So, terms of maturity talaga on accepting things. So, you need to accept that there would be situation that you'd be placed in that is not favorable in you. Diba? Na hindi siya pabor sa kung anong gusto mong mangyari. Hindi siya aligned sa gusto mong makuha on this specific year. Hindi siya aligned sa kung anong gusto mo talaga gawin nung bata ka pa lang. Hindi talaga ito yung pangarap mo. And you need to accept the reality 'di ba? Na yun nga, hindi lahat makukuha natin agad. So yun. And ayun. And kailangan din talaga maset natin yung mind natin for doing this because this is what you want to do. So remember that set your mind that you're doing this because this is what you want to do and not because of the pressure of the time that is slowly dying down. Diba? Dahil sa pagtanda natin. So, huwag ka ma-pressure sa oras. Yun lang lagi. Huwag ka ma-pressure sa oras. If this is a general thing, don't pressure yourself that much na hindi ka pa nakakapag-start nito, hindi ka pa nakakapag-start niyan, hindi ka pa nakakapag-start nito, 32 ka na, mga ganitong bagay. Kasi we need to understand that there is no right age and right time to start something that you wanna do. Sometimes, diba, time na nung kaibigan mo, sometimes hindi mo pa time, sometimes they are ahead of you, sometimes you are ahead of them on some certain point of things, and that's your own story diba? Hindi naman siya race. Sabi nga nila, gasgas na yung term. Life is not a race. Diba? So, ayun yung bagay na pwede nating matutunan. But, once again, if you want to start something, start it now. Diba? Start it tomorrow. Start it the next week. But at least, you need to have that specific time wherein you want to really start. And sabi nga ng Nike, baka naman, di ba? Pero sabi ng Nike, just do it. Di ba? Just do it lang talaga. So, if you want to do something that you really love to do, then just do it. Kasi, hindi naman natin kailangan talaga i-overthink yung mga bagay-bagay. Pero, syempre, I understand, hindi naman tayo lahat pare-parehas din ng mind and health as of now when it comes to mental health. But definitely we can be a support system for each other and help each other, start things that we love and really want to do. So, ayun lang naman yun. And, once again, kung gusto mo man, diba? Kung visual person ka, katulad ko, please write things. If you would find this helpful, you can write it on paper, you can write it on your whiteboard. Ako, personally, may whiteboard ako sa bahay. Kasi sobrang visual ko na kapag hindi ko siya nakikita, hindi siya nag-exist as a task. So, all the pod that I'm planning out to do, it's written on a whiteboard and I'm changing it depending on what I want to do and what I want to happen for the pod. So may work for you as well if nahihirapan kang magsimula or mag-start ng things, diba? So ayun, that's those are the list of things that we need to know first before we ask ourselves, how do we start? Diba? How do we start addressing the challenges that we can see for the work-life balance paradox? So, at first and foremost, when you're making decisions and when you're deciding something, be level-headed. Don't let your emotions decide for you because it's driving your discipline bad. Especially yung mga urge natin na biglaan lang. Diba? So parang mga impulsive thoughts natin, kumbaga. Impulsive buys, diba, na minsan nakakasira ng ng budget. Nakita mo yung sapatos na Converse, ang ganda. Ang ganda ng Converse, gusto ko to. Tapos tuwan-tuwa ka nung nakita mo yun. Tapos binili mo, nakalimutan mo dahil sa sobrang tuwa mo dun sa sapatos. Kulang ka na pala ng budget for that specific month. So, ayun lang. Just don't decide whenever you're on high emotions. Let it die down. And that would help you to logically, break down the things that you need to decide for and with. Kasi, much better decisions yun. As I had observed for myself. Pero, ayun. Medyo contradicting din sa part na this is about the things that we want to do and mostly it's emotions that's fueling our passion, diba? Pero try to be level-headed as much as possible when you're trying to make big decisions and trying to start something. Pangalawa, you need to start mapping out what you really want to do and where do you want to be on a specific goal or thing, right? So, what do you want to start? When do you want to start it? Where do you want to be after starting it? Diba? You can write your short-term and long-term goals. Kung ano yung goals mo for the week, kung ano yung goal mo for the day, and kung ano yung goal mo for the month. If you can stretch it out, right, for the whole year, then that's better. Kasi you're gonna have this goal month over month, week over week, that's gonna help you drive yourself and build that discipline in you that you need to check this off the list, diba? So it's something a responsible move, I can guess, sa age natin ngayon. So yun, it's one thing that we need to take a look into, diba? And when you're starting to map your journey for balancing out your work-life balance, I would recommend for you to be really, really specific on the actions you want to take. Be specific on what things you will do, diba, for this specific day, and be specific with the dates that you have. So for example, the pod, di ko naman siya ginagawa, di ba? Pero before, hindi talaga ako naglilista. Hindi ako nagbibigay ng timeline sa sarili ko kasi I find it kind of pressuring a bit and that drives me overthinking kung kaya ko ba talaga or hindi. But now that I have a very much mature mind to deal with things, I can see the benefit of having a map all throughout. Kasi it would push you forward. It would push you to do the thing that at first you're only just planning to do. But if you have this kind of map, it will guide you all throughout the journey to be on the right place at the right time that you yourself chose to do. Diba? So, helpful siya. And ayun nga, darating tayo sa part ng ano ba yung most powerful application ngayon sa phone if you're a young adult. For me, it's really the calendar. Diba? So before, malala nyo yung nanay tatay nyo, meron pa yung mga kalendaryo na nagaling sa bigasan, nagaling sa laundry, nagaling sa kung ano-anong shop na libre pag bagong taon. And doon nila sinusulat minsan kung ano yung specific na lugar na pupuntahan, kung ano yung gagawin that day, kung kailan babayaran yan. So it's kind of really the best friend that you will have kapag ganitong age ka na. And actually kahit early teens ka pa 'di ba? It would really be a good practice to just create the time frame that you have for your daily rigors. I wish someone really told me about this way back then when I was a teenager. Kasi it's a really helpful and healthy discipline, I guess. Healthy approach on how you can be more productive, how you can be more responsible for the things you really want to do. Ayun yung wala. So, if you're a teen, up until now, na nakikinig sa pod na to, you can start using your calendar, right? To plan things out, to really move you out from that specific situation na feeling mo hindi ka productive or di ka gumagawa. Diba? So, ayun. So, at fourth, leave your doubts. Diba? Think less of what other people think about you and do what you wanna do as long as wala naman tayong tinatapakan na tao. Yun lagi yun. So, whatever your doubts are, leave those behind. Diba? Kasi doubts, lagi lang yan, nandyan. Pero you need to overcome those doubts. You need to start believing in yourself. You need to give yourself a pat on the back na kaya mo to. You're doing a great job. You're doing a little progress. A step forward is a step forward. Diba? Kahit gaano pa kaliit yan. So, once again, it's not something that instant. Diba? So, you need to really work for the progress that you want to see for yourself. And you can't make it overnight. Diba? It's a process. It's a process. So, yun siya. And then, number 5, you also need to leave your what-ifs. So, ano ba yung mga what-ifs na yan? So, ito yung mga what-if na. What if, nag-start ako ng podcast, tapos, wala naman nakikinig? What if, nag-start ako ng merch, tapos, hindi nila magustuhan? What if, kunin ko tong task na to, tapos hindi ko siya makomplete? What if hindi talaga ako para dito sa bagay na to? What if yung mga negative what ifs natin? 'Di ba? So leave those kind of thinking. What if I fail? What if like that? What if diba? Very tiring siya. The moment na iniisip mo yung what if, doon pa lang pagod ka na. Doon pa lang you already encountered one of the challenges na meron tayo sa taas, which is yung energy. Nasayang na yung energy mo. 'Di ba? To think about the things that you could have done already, 'di ba? And yung what if na yun, mapapalitan siya ng results. So yung result na yun, magsabi sa'yo kung hindi ka ba talaga para dyan. 'Di ba? At least you found out, at least you've tried. At least there's some action or call to action, 'di ba? Into it. Hindi ka nasayang sa what if lang. But I'm all for what ifs. If ganito yung mga what ifs nyo. What if gumawa ako ng podcast tapos maging successful ako sa podcast? What if mag-establish ako ng clothing line ko na sarili and then maging okay and pumatok yung clothing line ko? What if mag-start ako ng business and then umokay yung business? Diba? So, kung mga positive what ifs yan, I'm all for your what ifs. I'm all for the manifestation of what ifs that you have if it's a positive thing. Only remove the what ifs that are negatively impacting your thought process, your mindset, and your actions. So, those are the what ifs na meron tayo sa buhay. And start doing what ifs more positively than negative what ifs. You'll find yourself wondering kung bakit hindi ba natin to ginawa way back then. And kahit sa akin parang magic pa rin siya na may ganun palang kind of what ifs. Ang lagi kasi natin what if hindi ko sinimulan to, diba? What if basta medyo tiring yung mga what ifs na negative, but we can start learning to love positive what ifs, right? Ito, 6, one of my favorite things that we can start with. You need to remove your excuses. Remove your excuses. Diba? So, lagi yan. Kahit ako, guilty ako. Up until now, meron pa rin akong bit by bit na excuses sa sarili ko. So, sa totoong buhay kung kanina, pwede na ako magrason na siguro hindi para sa 3rd episode tong pod na to kasi na-delete ko yung hour-long na recording ko Diba? Tapos, lagi ko pa excuse. Wala akong oras Sobrang daling excuse ng time, no? Sobrang convenient excuse na, wala akong oras, busy sa work. Medyo wala akong oras, mag-OT kami mamaya Medyo wala akong oras, ganito, ganyan. So, try to remove that excuses. Diba? And later, we're gonna address how we can remove those excuses. Kasi, once again, kung itong podcast na to, hindi ko tinuloy today, magkakaroon ako ng excuse na na-delete ko kasi yung buong recording na an hour long. Kaya hindi ko na-post yung 3rd EP on the right time. May pasok pa ako mamayang gabi Kaya hindi ko na-post yung 3rd EP for the 3rd EP, for the pod. So, ayun excuse ko, di ba? But I want to remove that I want to remove that specific excuse and start learning and accepting that thing happened. Na-delete ko wala na akong magagawa. Hindi ko na mababalik yung recording. So, what can I control is my reaction to it. Syempre at first, siguro 2 minutes, bad trip ako. But after that, since I really have the will and I really want to record this episode, got back to the front of my PC, set up the mic again, and start recording. And now you're hearing me now again and you're listening to the pod. Diba? So, natanggal ko yung excuse ko na na-delete ko yung pod. Natanggal ko yung excuse ko na may pasok pa ako mamaya. I still have time. That's what I believe, diba? And that's what I have in my mind. So, ayun, na-start ko siya. And, at 7, have a stoic mindset. Hindi ko sinasabing maging individualist tayo, diba? But, what I really find helpful for having a stoic mindset is that you're learning how to let go on things you can't control. So sa akin, one of the things that drives me crazy talaga is kapag nag-overthink ako sa mga uncontrollable things. Kasi endless diba? And pointless to begin with. Dahil wala ka namang mababago dun You can't change that thing because it's out of your control. And this started nung nag-training kami for mentorship with the current company I have na sinabi niya 90% or 98%, whatever percent it is, basta huge percentage is yung things that you wouldn't be able to control. Diba? Yung wala ka talagang control over with. Yun yung 90% of the time na mangyayari sa'yo. But, the 10%, yun lang talaga yung controllable things. And ano ba yung 10% na kaya mong kontrolin? Diba? So, first things first, your reaction. How you react to things. Diba? Yun yung pinaka-unang controllable for you. So, your emotions might control you, but you need to learn how to control your emotions. Diba? So, Ayun siya, kailangan natin ma-regulate yun and kailangan natin ma-control yun. So, kailangan yung reactions natin, that is one thing that you can control. The decision making we have, yun. One of the things that we can control. The decision to start again over this podcast and delete, that's one of my decisions and that I'm in control with. Ano pa ba? So, basta, anything that you can control, spend all your time and all your focus and all your energy on those things. So, at times, kaya tayo nagkakaroon ng excuses na wala tayong oras kasi hinahayaan natin na ma-overthink natin yung uncontrollable things na meron tayo ahead of time. So, if we could only, focus on things that we can control, then you might be able to budget yung kung anong merong oras ka for the day. And syempre, later, we're gonna talk about that. At 8th, meron tayong leave your ego or pride. Syempre, if you wanna start, diba, balancing everything, you might wanna start with checking your ego and pride. Kasi this is always one of the main reasons why a person cannot grow. Kasi hindi natin ma-handle yung criticisms. We can't accept the fact that we are not always right. We can't accept the fact that there would be always someone better than us. Diba? And it's kind of killing the passion in you. It's kind of killing the room for growth in a sense, kasi you won't take any other reasons na. You won't take any other advices anymore because you think the best way to go with things are things that are familiar with you. Maybe there are a lot of things, diba, that would hurt a lot of your ego or pride. But is it really that important for you to be on that high horse with your ego and pride? Just to be on the ride, or just to win the argument? Or is it more important to learn and grow as a person? Right? So, I'll leave that to you. You decide if your ego or pride is more important. But for me, I'll always leave the ego and pride aside and will always choose to learn and grow. 9th is how we can address the missing time. Diba? So once again, lagi natin dahilan kung gusto natin magsimula ng mga bagay-bagay is wala kasi akong time eh. Feeling ko ubos na yung oras ko. Kaya hindi ko siya ma-start. So, nagiging convenient excuse talaga yung time eh. No? Sobrang dali niyang gawing excuse na wala na akong time. Wala na ang time. Diba? So, ito yung nag-work for me. I'm not sure if this is gonna work for you, but this is just a basic thing. But what works for me is that I create checklist. At first, I tried to break down the 24 hours I have. 24 hours lang meron tayo in a day. And at times, we wish it was longer because we want to do a lot of things and there are tasks that we haven't done yet. Diba? Pero, here's the thing. If you only have 24 hours, once again, that's out of your control. What you can control is what you have right now, which is 24 hours. So how do we spend that 24 hours on a daily basis? Diba? So what worked for me is that I broke down kung ano yung nilalaman ng 24 hours ko lagi. So, currently for me, I might need to spend around 10 hours, 'di ba, for the work. Or minsan 11 to 12, depende. Pero usually 10 hours or 11 hours. So already have that specific duration na wala talaga ako ibang pwedeng gawin eh. I need to work. Right? So meron din akong an hour or two before the work para mag-prepare, mag-tune in, condition ng mind na I will work again, I need to spend 10 hours, 9 hours, whatever it is. 'Di ba? For commuting and such. Luckily for me, malapit lang ako sa work kaya medyo maraming oras kahit sabihin mong 1 hour lang yung preparation time, kayang umabot sa office. And kung tutusin, so 12 hours na yon. So now, I can get back at home within 30 minutes. So sa 30 minutes na yon, meron na akong 12 hours and 30 minutes. So, meron pa akong natitirang 11 hours and 30 minutes for the whole day. Diba? Sabihin natin pagka-uwi, yung 2 hours pa doon is mapupunta sa house chores. Maglilinis, magwawalis, maghuhugas ng plato, magluluto and whatnot. Pwede ka na ring maligo, 'di ba? Sa part na 'yun. And that would consume 14 hours na. 14 hours and 30 minutes of your time. You still have 10 more hours. 'Di ba? I still have 10 more hours to do more things. So sa 10 hours na 'yon, kung gusto ko magkaroon ng 8 hours of sleep, I can still do it. 'Di ba? So now, I was able to track how much time do I still have. If I plan to have a rest of 8 hours, then so be it. But I still have an hour and a half of free time before I go to rest. 'Di ba? So, ayun. So, yung 1 hour and a half na yun, it could probably be spent recording this podcast. It could probably be spent on drawing or whatever you really want to do personally, right? If you want to create your own recipe, do so. If you want to bake, do so. If you want to cook another meal, do so. 'Di ba? So, ayun andun tayo sa part na may choice tayo to break it down. So, that's how you can check, 'di ba? For the time that you're always using as an excuse. So, if you have this 10-hour long vacant time, what are you doing on those times? 'Di ba? So, now you need to understand saan napupunta yung extra ko na 1 hour and a half every day. Anong ginagawa ko nun that time? Kasi taking the rest for 8 hours, kasama na dun syempre yung pagulong-gulong mo sa kama and whatnot. 'Di ba? Kasama na dun yung pag-phone mo. Depende sa'yo. Pero you still have 1 hour and a half of free time. And that daily, kung accumulated siya, maraming oras na yun on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, and yearly. So you can do so much, right? And ayun. And if hindi mo talaga alam kung ano yung gagawin mo with that extra time, then you can create your checklist of tasks and responsibilities and things you want to really get. So have a checklist of what you want to do within the day. Ako, meron akong checklist. Meron akong whiteboard na binili. Kasi, once again, kapag hindi ko nasulat, hindi ko nakikita, hindi nag-exist yung task sa utak ko. Lagi ko siya nakakalimutan. So, I really wanna take on that challenge na walang makalimutan task. And I can't control my mind na nakakalimutan niya lagi. So, I chose to battle it with, diba, whiteboards and markers. So, ayun siya. So, from time to time, binabago ko yun. Doon din nakalagay yung schedule ng pod and everything. Ano ba yung mga topics na pwede nating mapag-usapan pa on next. So, yun. Yun yung mga nakalagay lang sa whiteboard ko. And the weekly goal that I have, kung ano ba yung release date ng pod, kung ano yung gusto kong magawang topic for that specific day and week, then I do dig into that and I can be more productive kasi nakikita ko na hindi ko pa siya nagagawa. So, kailangan ko siyang gawin. Ayun lang naman yun sa akin. So, ayun. Yun lang talaga. Yun lang yung 9 things na pwede mong gawin to start at the least addressing your life-work balance na paradox, diba? So, remember that this is really a lifestyle change. Kasi, magiging uncomfortable sa'yo yung feeling na nagsusulat ka sa whiteboard, nagte-take down ka ng notes, pinaplan ahead mo yung mga gusto mong gawin in life na hindi naman parte ng routine mo before. It's gonna be uncomfortable and difficult at first, and that's where growth always starts with, Diba? Yung uncomfortability mo sa isang bagay and yung growth mo sa isang bagay. Always, once again, you always need to remember this. And this works for me. I'm not sure if this would sound cynical or what. But remember that life is not all about happiness. We need to accept na ang ratio ng kasiyahan natin ay 1/15 challenges in life. So, natatawa lang ako kasi yung past boss ko, sabi niya sa akin, ang weird mo. Kasi pati kasiyahan, minimeasure mo pa. But, for me, I think, mas gusto kong na-measure ko siya. Kasi at least, by the end of the day, out of 15 challenges or out of 15 na hardships, I'm expecting one happiness about it. And, diba, kaysa naman wala kang pang-measure kung kailan ka sasaya. At least may expectations ka na from this point of time, baka ito na yung happiness after this. Diba? And, hindi naman life is not all about happiness din eh. Diba? Life is about many things. Kasama rin yung hard work, yung passion natin, and yun nga, yung mga difficulties and challenges na na-experience natin sa buhay. If we're not gonna go around some challenges, hindi naman tayo mag-grow eh. Diba? Hindi naman tayo magbabago. Hindi naman tayo mag-improve as a person. And hindi rin madedevelop yung passion mo on one thing if there are no challenges at all. And it doesn't make sense that you will get it all the time, all the things that you want, nang hindi ka nahihirapan. Diba? So at times, it's really a matter of perspective on how you deal with the challenges and how you accept things that not at all times you'll be happy. But it's kind of a process that you need to go with or to go through para ma-appreciate mo yung winning point mo from the losing battles that you encountered. Diba? So, ayun. Kasi at some point, kung hindi ka ma-pressure and hindi ka makakaramdam ng challenge, hindi ka na makakaalis kung nasan ka eh. Diba? So, one of my favorite analogy regarding growth ay yung analogy ko about the ocean. Diba? So, like ko sinasabi na if you're on a peaceful lake, hindi ka gagalaw eh. Diba? Hindi ka gagalaw sa kung nasaan ka man. Kasi yung sitwasyon mo is ganun lang eh. Diba? Peaceful siya. Comfortable. And who would want to go out of comfort? Diba? But the thing is, you're always gonna have the same thing over and over again, day over day. But for me, we need to really jump to the sea. Wherein, hindi siya comfortable. Diba? And there would be huge waves trying to drown you from time to time. But, the good thing about this is, unlike in peaceful lake na nasa isang lugar ka lang, mapupunta ka on different places na hindi mo ina-expect na mapupuntahan mo, na kaya mo palang puntahan because of the waves throwing you out to different sections of the sea. And a good thing about this is hindi lang ikaw yung nag-try tumalon sa dagat, diba? You would encounter some people, you would encounter individuals that made the same decision as you to jump out of that ruthless ocean and try the uncomfortable thing to do for growth. Diba? So, always na kapag may challenges, ang hirap na minsan gusto mo nang sumuko, minsan sabihin mo sa sarili mo, sana pala hindi ko na trinay, sana pala ganito, ganyan. But, if you haven't tried that, then you won't realize why you are like this now, kung nasaan ka ngayon. Diba? And the situation would always force you once again to be on a place you're not thinking about getting to. So, lagi yun. Laging hindi mo akalain, kaya mo pala. Hindi mo akalain. Kasi trinay mo. Diba? Kasi trinay mo eh. Uncomfortable? Yes. Nakakatakot siya? Yes. Pero the payoff is really satisfying. You're gonna find that self-satisfactory feeling that you've overcome this uncomfortable situation and that you now have a better perception about things that you haven't had before. Kasi nga, kung hindi mo siya ma-experience, hindi mo siya malalaman kung ano yung feeling and kung ano yung perspective out from that. One important thing for me, lalo na kapag ganitong mga usapan, is sa inyo. Kung ano yung mga sa tingin yung nakatulong or na-miss natin sa part na to, sa usapan na to, and kung ano yung mga sa tingin yung pwede pa makatulong, no, to start balancing our lives and to start getting back to the hobbies that we really want to have and to continue doing it. So ayun, basta for me, accountability is huge. Diba? There would be actions and consequences out of those actions. And whatever it may be a good consequence, then you deserve that. That's good. That's better. Diba? That's the result and fruit of your labor. That's the result of your good actions and good decisions. You can celebrate that out and not feel guilty about it. But if you have bad consequences because of your bad decisions, because of your bad actions, because of your poor judgment, then you need to take accountability that you made some mistake, right? You need to recognize that you are a human being and you are not perfect at all times. So there would be times na na-master mo na isang bagay pero nagkakamali ka pa rin. And we need to accept the fact that that can happen anytime. But, once again, if you won't take accountability out from those consequences and actions that you've made, you're not really gonna learn anything about it. If you're always gonna blame the situation, if you're gonna blame the people around you, if you're gonna blame, or if you're just gonna plainly play the blame game, then nothing's gonna change. Alright? Kung lagi lang tayo maninisi na, kasi ganito ako nung bata pinalaki, kaya ganito yung actions ko ngayon. Kasi ito yung mga experiences ko from the past kasi trinay ko yun dati tapos parang hindi naman okay yung experience. Kasi si ganito ganyan always say to me like this, blah blah blah. So for me parang medyo backwards tayo dun sa part na yun. We can recognize, di ba, na maraming palyado sa sistema and we will always fight for a better system that we have, di ba? But we also need to acknowledge na meron tayong shortcomings sa mga actions natin. Kasi those are the things, once again, that we can control. So, if we're not gonna take full responsibility out from it, who will, di ba? We can only help ourselves and others if we learn to help ourselves, diba? So yung part na yun kailangan matutunan din natin once again na i-take accountability yung mga bagay-bagay na we are currently here right now with this problem because of our decisions. So what you can do is to look back about what happened bad about that decision and work on it the next time. Accept the fact that it already happened, but you won't let it happen again. That's accountability, diba? That's something that would change your life forever and would change the things that you do on how you deal with problems in the future. And that's a long-term solution as it is. Hindi na siya parang patch solution and hindi siya magiging excuses for you. And on that way, diba? Mag-grow ka as a person. And speaking of growth, we need to learn that growth and actions would take time. Hindi siya parang, once again, hindi siya instant noodles. Na kailangan, hindi siya mga ganun ba? Or kahit nga, even cup noodles, diba? Kailangan maghintay ng 3 minutes para sa mainit na tubig at dun sa noodles, mag-come together for you to enjoy the cup noodles. Hindi mo makakain yun diba? If it's before 3 minutes. Hindi siya ganoon kasarap kung pipilitin mong kainin yun. Diba? Pero, ayun, it takes time din talaga para magbunga yung mga tinanim natin na pagod. So, hindi naman kinabukasan, di ba? Na pag tiniligan mo yung halaman mo, is nag-grow siya. Di ba? Hindi naman kinabukasan, yung bulaklak na yan agad. It takes consistent action of watering it on a daily basis and putting it on the sun and everything like that. So, alam ko sad na yung analogy na yan eh. Pero, every now and then, we tend to forget that we're just like plants. We're not gonna grow right away. We're not gonna grow tomorrow. We have our specific time and we need to do it consistently. So, naalala ko tuloy yung sinabi ni Bojack. Bojack quotes. Siguro gawa tayo ng isang Bojack episode next time. Kasi it's one of the favorite series, animated series that I've watched sa Netflix, and I think genius lang siya para sa akin. But I'm not sure para sa inyo, but pero yun. For me, it's a good thing. Bojack helped me to get out of depressing moments or depressing times. Para siyang kaibigan for me. So, and going back to the Bojack quote na the problem for me is not the commitment. It's the follow-through of that commitment that makes me challenge. So, hindi ko alam kung ganun yung exact. Pero, yun yung gist about it. Diba? Na hindi mahirap mag-commit eh. Kasi we can commit all the time. All the time that we want to commit. Pero, paano yung follow through with the actions in order for that commitment be true at the end? Diba? So, ang dami. I can commit this. I can commit that. I will do this. I will do that. Pero yung follow through ng actions for you to materialize that specific commitment, nangyayari ba? Diba? So, on a weekly basis ba, nagagawa ko yung pod, nagagawa ko yung ganito. So, that's on my, personal perspective. But, you can ask yourself the same way I'm challenging myself. Diba? Na, ang commit tayo ng ganito, pero, di naman pala tayo nagpa-follow through ng actions natin. So, hindi talaga siya magmamaterialize. Diba? So, kailangan din talaga natin, once again, take accountability with the actions that we have. Diba? And yun. Siyempre, hindi lahat nabiyayaan ng trabahong mahal nila sa simula. Diba? So, kaya nagkakaroon ng parang work-life balance eh. Kasi the thing that you're working with right now, you don't love it. Diba? Parang, dragging. Nakakapagod to. So, parang gusto mo lang lagi umuwi. But, once again, love is being learned. Diba? Love is a process. So, hindi naman agad-agad pwede, love na kita agad. Parang gusto ko tong gawin talaga. May mga ganun tayo. May mga ganung moments tayo in life na parang gusto mo na. Pero at the end of the day, kapag na-try mo na, hindi pala. Diba? So, what I'm just trying to say is that if you haven't learned to love the job that you have right now or the work that you have right now, that's the reason why you're trying to find out work-life balance. Kasi hindi mo gusto yung ginagawa mo. So now, it's not being part of your life. Kasi dapat, by the end of the day, life lang ang meron tayo diba? Life lang. Which is consisted of the work itself. Remember that 9 to 5, 10 hours in a day, you're at the office if you're working in corporate. Or if you're working alone, you're in front of your computer, right? If you're working outside, then you work in an office or something like that. But most of the time, you're spending your time to work, right? And that's 10 hours of your life every day. So, dalawa lang yan for me. Either, matututunan mong mahalin yung trabahong meron ka ngayon para maging parte siya ng buhay mo. And hindi siya maging work-life paradox. Diba? Kailangan mong tanggapin na this is my life. This work is my life. And mostly, kung papansin nyo, yung observation na to is from Japanese people. They're doing the same thing over 25 years And they are not really complaining that I need to do this, that every day. But they're embracing the fact that that specific work is their life. Diba? Yung master nila for their life itself. So they're spending their whole life mastering one thing, and that's the work that they're doing on that time because that's life for them. It's the work itself. Pangalawa, ito na yung or umalis ka na, 'di ba? Umalis ka na sa trabaho mo and then take the risk. Take the risk. Take the risk to jump out of that comfort zone and jump into what you want to do in life na mahal mo talaga. Pero remember, you can't do that without any safety net. Hindi lahat kayang mag-resign right away. Hindi lahat kayang mabuhay ng walang monthly income. So, if you need to learn to love what you're currently doing right now and then jump after, 'di ba? Just make sure that you understand what we're talking about earlier regarding the choices you have in life. So you have the choice to make your life miserable at work every day. You can't complain every day of things that's happening on your daily life, on your daily commute, for example. Diba? Pwede mo i-complain na, ba yan si kuya, ngayon pa lumiko sa gas station, talaga nga naman nag-taxi pa ako. Malilate din pala ako, di ba? Ngayon pa. Would that change anything? Syempre wala, di ba? Nagpagas na yan eh. So, if may stress ka doon, sabagay na yun, you chose to be stressed, di ba? You chose to react that way. You chose to be angered that time. So, choice mo yun. Choice mo mabad trip na lumiko pa siya. Pero tutuusin kasi, di ba? Kung umalis ka na mas maaga, di ka naman malilate sana eh. Di ba? Yun yung actions eh. Diba? Yung accountability. You're blaming someone else's again. But, or, you can be happy about it. Diba? Talaga nga naman si kuya, lumiko pa, lagi na lang talaga. Oh. Pero wala na magagawa eh. So, kwentuhan na lang kayo ni kuya. Diba? With his daily life. Then, you would learn something better instead, diba, of complaining na lumiko pa siya sa gas station. So, parang ganun lang. Diba? Parang ganun lang. Hindi mo talaga masasabing ewan. Basta. Yun. Sana na-explain ko maayos, no? Naintindihan mo ba? Pero, yun. Pero, yun yung for me, diba? Nakakontrol mo talaga yung reaction mo. So, if you chose to have a miserable working life, then that's your choice. Diba? That's your choice. Pero kung i-enjoy mo yan, gusto mong enjoyin yan, you'll find a way to enjoy your everyday working life. And that takes away, diba, the paradox out of the work-life balance because it's now gonna be just a big life for you. That this is part of your life. Working on the job that you currently have right now. Thus, no longer a paradox. Diba? Ang galing din ng podcast natin eh, no? Pero, ayun. Para siyang self-therapy talaga. Yung isa talaga sa mga take-away ko lagi pag nagpapad tayo is para siyang therapy for me kasi I can voice out yung thoughts na lagi ko lang ino-overthink, na lagi lang nagpapasabog ng utak ko kapag ako na lang mag-isa. And this is such a good experience for me talking to you guys kahit walang responses right away. Pero saya lang din na may feedback kayo, na pinipm nyo ko for some suggestions. And there would be a poll and some Q&A after this pod. You can answer it on Spotify. You can PM the page Wasting Hours with Munz in Facebook for any suggestions of what things we can talk about. What did you think about this specific episode? I would like to have the engagement then with you guys kasi para at least, diba, hindi lang one way yung communication. And ano pa ba mga takeaways natin? Ako, yung phrase siguro na do things that makes you happy, medyo limiting siya for me. medyo na-scratch ko na siya sa utak ko na there will be things that I would do that I won't be happy right away. But it's part of the things I need to do in order for me to be happy at the end. So, wag mo lang sigurong itatak sa utak mo na you're only gonna do things that makes you happy. Kasi medyo malilimit ka dun. So, kapag hindi ka happy, hindi mo nagagawin yung isang bagay. 'Di ba? Medyo backwards for me. Pero, ikaw. Pero kung para sa akin, I would suggest for you to just accept na not all things that you're doing would be a happy thing to do. Kasi nga, it's part of the life, 'di ba, na hindi ka lagi masaya. Tandaan mo, ang ratio is 1 to 15. 'Di ba? So maybe it's just one of the things that you really need to do, and then later you'll be happy about it. And if you haven't tried it because you think it won't be happy for you or it won't be a happy story for you, then you might be missing out things. 'Di ba? And syempre, discipline din talaga for the consistency and the things that we do. And isa pa, mindset. Dati baduy ako dito. Pero ngayon, it's a huge part of the daily rigors that I have, the daily routine that I have, the daily talk with myself is the mindset that I have before I go to work, before I start the podcast, before I do such things, before I do household chores, actually. Kasi kailangan ko i-tune in yung sarili ko. Kailangan ko i-condition yung mind ko that I'll be doing this, I'll be doing that in order for me to get this goal from point A to point B. And yung trajectory ng mga goals mo sa buhay, that depends on what vision you have, 'di ba? That depends on the mindset and the things that you're already thinking. Once again, if you're thinking one thing and you want to act different, that's gonna be a difficult thing to do. Kasi whatever you have, the mind is once again the main unit, the processor of all things. You won't be able to translate it to your body language, 'di ba? Hindi siya magta-translate eh. You can mask it for a bit, pero makikita pa rin in general ng ibang tao na iba yung iniisip mo kaysa sa ina-act mo, 'di ba? So it's gonna be more genuine if you're gonna start it with your mind. Start doing things or start thinking the things that you really want to do. That what you think about that specific thing, diba? Start a more positive mindset, I can say, to do things, and that would translate your actions, diba? Mindsetting. That's how big deal mindsetting is for me. Is because it could affect your actions daily kung hindi mo siya bibigyan ng pansin. And patience, once again, yun. Patience lang din talaga. We can't get everything all at once. And we need to be patient about the results. And at times, hindi ka agad-agad siya lalabas. Once again. Process. Sabihin nila, trust the process. Pero you also need to trust your actions. You need to trust your decisions. You need to trust the consistency that you've built so far and the discipline. Diba? And that's your patience about it. And the thing is, once again, nag-start natin to para i-question yung paradox ng work-life balance. And wala naman talaga, diba? It's just life for me. It's just life. There's no paradox at all. It's just life. This is within our life, the work that we need to do on a daily basis, and we need to accept that. And those are my takeaways for the session. Right? For this episode that we have. Para rin ako nagtrabaho, para tayong nag-coaching today. But ayun, I enjoyed the pod. And thank you. Thank you for being here with me. I hope this is an interesting episode for you, which is the paradox of work-life balance. And once again, thank you, Aya, for dropping this episode. I enjoyed breaking down things for you, and I hope you learned something from it, because I did learn something for myself. And sure, please once again, please drop by the page, facebook.com/wastinghourswithmunz. If you have some suggestions, if you have a reaction to the to the episode that we have today. If ever, I hope you can share it to your friends, right? As well, if you want them to listen to some um person just blabbing things around, okay na yun, di ba? And kung may gustong mag-sponsor, kahit sino, just kidding. Pero yun, I'm not looking into anything out from this podcast. Once again, it's a personal project, and I'm just very glad that I can do this with the extra time that I can find on a daily basis. And ayun, I hope we can influence someone else's as well to start doing their own thing too. And that's the main point of the pod, 'di ba? Para ma-encourage din kayo na i-start yung mga bagay na matagal nyo nang gustong gawin ulit, na kailangan mong hanapan ng time. And here we go. A thing you can do para mahanapan mo siya ng time. And kung sakali, 'di ba? Kung sakali lang na wala akong plan pero kung sakali may gusto mag-sponsor, medyo naiya pa ako, pero kung sakali may gusto mag-sponsor, okay lang naman sa atin lang, hindi natin pagsasabi. Pero ayun, medyo naghihirap tayo sa buhay, kaya okay lang din kung may mag-sponsor. Thank you. Ayun. Bago tayo matapos, thank you nga pala once again for AI Prints. I'll provide their Facebook later. AI Prints sa Facebook, sila yung nag-print ng shirts namin sa office, and the people are happy about how the shirts turned out. They also have other services such as printing in mugs, ref magnet, faxing documents, everything actually. Basta anything regarding print, meron sila. So it was being run by Ivan, one of my batchmates in college, and syempre si Judy. Yan. Ayun. So, silang dalawa yung utak ng AI Prints. And I'm hoping to do more project with them. And in case, baka kung may interested sa inyo, I'll try to have some merch going on for the pod. Diba? Pagawa natin sa kanila. Ayun. So, thanks for this episode. I really enjoyed it even though I recorded it twice. But I hope you enjoyed this. Wasted hours with me. Baka ito pala yung oras na hinahanap nyo. Diba? Pero wag kayong na-stuck lang sana. Sana may ginagawa rin kayo while you're listening to me to be productive. But, ayun. I enjoyed the time with you guys. I'm hoping to look and I'm looking forward to talk with you guys once again by next week. And we're gonna talk about comfort places. Ayun. So, sana na-excite ko kayo sa part na yun. I'll provide teasers about that episode. And I hope you can join me once again for the pod. This is Munar from Wasting Hours with Munz. Thank you for listening. Bye. And enjoy life. Bye.